Okay, folks. Hey, a nice summer day. Hot weather. Water's really hot. Hey, but I'm going to try something deep cranking. With a deep crankbait like this, I'm getting down 10, 15, even 20 foot deep. I'm in a big pit here in Naples, Florida. You know, they've constructed so many homes and developments, and they need fill for the roads, and so there's a lot of gravel pits and rock pits like this one, maybe hundreds just in this one area. And I have permission to fish in this one. You know, a lot of people say, well, gosh, you're so lucky to get permission to fish. I have to ask. It's not easy to get permission to fish these places, but I just ask around, be a nice guy, and sure enough, people let me fish for every once in a while. Anyway, that's what we're doing. We're cranking some deep water. It's hot summertime. There's a little kind of a road bed out there. I'm gonna throw right there. I'm gonna crank it down fast. I got a pretty light line. Get down towards the bottom. Slow it up. Okay, I'm hitting bottom. Right there, I'm hitting bottom. Oh boy, I want to load up. Big old giant one. Woo! Son, there's some big fish to be hit on these crankbaits in the summertime now. This can be a major deal. Well, throw it out. You know, almost all these gravel pits and rock pits, they just aren't just a square hole in the ground. There's all sorts of little roads that run out there that were access to the heavy equipment as they dug out here. There's like a little road right in here somewhere, and it's kind of a high spot. And then as you come out here in the middle, there's ridges out there too. When they dug, they didn't dig it even. It's not all 15 foot deep, for example. It might be, some of it's 6 and 8 foot deep, some of it's 15 foot deep. But the point is, there's a lot of variation to the bottom. And so that's what I'm doing now. I'm just going along with my depth finder, and I'm trying to find something different, particularly a shallow spot. Now that's really what holds the fish, and the deep drop-offs that are connected to those shallow spots out here in these gravel pits. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Now right now, I've come up pretty shallow. We're on a shallow little hump right here. And I'm gonna put my polarized sunglasses on. That sure helps a lot. Hot summer day. Another thing that I do is I take a lot of care of my skin. I use a good sunscreen. I put it on, say, at least twice a day. I put it on about 15 minutes ago. And that's a big deal, protecting your skin. Oh, I'm hitting that roadbed right now. I'm coming up with the crankbait. Okay, it's hitting. Come on, take it. It's hitting right there. Hitting that roadbed right there. Woo! They're not there, but boy, you're talking about a good looking spot. You know this, I'm cranking right now with fluorocarbon. Now the thing about fluorocarbon is two big advantages when you're cranking with fluorocarbon. Number one, it's real invisible in the water. The fish can't see it very well at all, okay? That's one big advantage, okay? The second advantage is that it doesn't stretch quite as much. It has a little bit more sensitivity than monofilament. It's a little bit harder to cast, but by the same token, you can feel better with it. Oh boy, I thought that was something, but it's not. It's just a roadbed. Now, when you're deep cranking like I am, I like a soft rod. This is a 6.5 foot. It's a really soft rod. It's not a hard, heavy-duty rod at all. See what we got here. That's pretty good. Oh shoot! I don't know what it is. Pretty good one. Well, I'll tell you what, folks. We're cranking today. It's hot summertime, and these fish are all messing up. Boy, there's a big one here. I don't know if it's going to be the big one of the day or not, but there's schools of fish out here. That's the deal. I'm cranking a big, deep crankbait, in about 10 or 15 feet of water. I got a big old bass on. I'm gonna have to weigh it. I'm telling you what, I'm gonna hit my spot lock and get back on the, it's really a good fish. Really a big fish. A real healthy bass. Look at that big old bass. Oh yeah, that's what we're talking about. That's a healthy bass, boys. Healthy big old bass. And that's the kind of thing you can get in cranking in the summertime. Big old giant crankbait fish, 5 or 6 or 7 pounds. And I'm using a great big crankbait. Water temperature is almost 90 degrees. It's hot summertime. And what I'm doing is I'm just getting on these little hills. And this is a dugout gravel pit right here. And I've fished it a couple different times. He's a nice bass, close to 6 pounds, and we'll let him go. We'll let him go, and we'll talk about what I have here for a crankbait. Now, sometimes with these big crankbaits, you'll get more than one fish on a lure. I've done that before because there's a big hook here and a big hook here. And golly day, that's a big thing. I'm running 12-pound fluorocarbon on a pretty small, light 6.5 foot favorite rod. It's kind of a real soft action rod. But I have this 8-to-1 reel from the Bass Pro Shop reel. Now see, I can really, it doesn't look like I'm fishing very fast, but that's 8-to-1. That's an 8-to-1 ratio. That's really, really quick. So I'm just going to ease along here. I'll take these rods and I'll hold them like this. And I want to get a long, long ways. The farther you can throw, the deeper you go. So I take the other left hand and really hold it here and really counter leave it. Boy, you can really get long distances. And I'm probably 100 feet out. Crank it down, crank it down, crank it down, crank it down, crank it down. I hit the bottom. Kind of slow it up. Slow it up. Slow it up. Boy, I'm banging the bottom. I'm banging the bottom. Really big time. Banging the bottom. Banging the bottom. Come on, bass. Boy, I'm hitting bottom really good. Ooh. Coming right up that road bed. Really good. Ooh, I got a little one. Not too bad. He's not much, but he's on the right spot. He's a little skinny. He's not near as big as that other one I had. But I had the right technique going. He's a little skinny. He hadn't been eating very much. He needed to go back and eat some more. I'm checking my line too and make sure there's no fray. Okay, I know exactly. See, the spot lock's right here. And I throw it right to that tree over there. And I'm going to come exactly in the same spot again. If that's a big boulder down there or whatever was holding that fish, that could be the deal. Hitting bottom, hitting bottom, hitting bottom, hitting bottom. Keeping my rod kind of low. Hitting bottom. You can kind of pause it a little bit, kind of crank it, kind of pause it, kind of crank it. There's a big one. I got a big one. I got a big one. I got a big one on a crankbait. I got a real big one on a crankbait. Real big one on a crankbait. Real big one. Real big one on a crankbait. Look at that, 2 bass. 2 bass at one time. 2 bass, 2 bass. And there's another bass down there. There's another bass down there. There's another bass on on the deal. And there were 2 bass on here. I don't know if they're still here or not. 2 big bass on this thing. No, there's one now. There was one now. There was 2, and there were 2 or 3 more following it. So this is the deal on cranking big fish. Okay, boys, that's what we're talking about. Cranking some big old 4 and 5 pound bass, but I had 2 on, and you can see the second one. Hey, that was quite a deal. Big old giant fish. When you find them like that, you find a whole school. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this big old crankbait, see if I can't find another big school of fish. So way out there, crank it back. Big old giant fish. I had 2 big ones on. That one about almost 5 pounds, and there was another one on the hook, and then there was a third one nipping at it, all that. So I saw 3 in the water right there underneath the boat. 3 big fish. It's a big school of fish. Maybe they went up the canal. I don't know where that school went. It went one way or the other. Get out of here, alligator. That alligator wants to eat all my fish. That's not a good deal. Get out of here. Okay. They might have gone up, that school of fish might have gone up the canal here. I don't know where it went. Make another cast up there. Well, it's been quite a day. I'll make a couple more casts and I'm going to leave. But I showed you a few things about cranking. Talked about light line, good soft rod. There's a little one. Not much to it. Yeah, that's not much of a bass. But anyway, I did catch a couple big ones. Hey, and that was really cool up in that little slot. I had 2 big ones on. I had one almost 5 pounds on one hook and one almost the same size on the other hook. And all of a sudden there was a third bass that came up, and then all of a sudden they just were all gone. They were just, that school left. So, you know, you don't catch them all big and you don't always catch them again. That whole school left, and so you just have to keep looking for those schools. So remember to have a good soft long rod, make a good long cast, get a crankbait that gets down deep, get good electronics. Do a lot of cranking, hey, and you'll catch some big fish too. So listen, I've really enjoyed doing these YouTubes for you guys. I post every Wednesday about 6 o'clock, and then I post every Sunday about 6 o'clock. You know, I'm an old school teacher. I was an old infantry officer in the military teaching rifle range stuff, and boy, I'm a good teacher. I know a lot about fishing, I really do. Probably I know a lot more than I can actually do myself, but at least I know how to fish. And so I enjoy teaching. I enjoy these videos. It's a lot of fun. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.